By the end of the video, you will learn how to create your Google Maps scraper. To achieve this goal, you have two options. You can use this free web scraping tool which has accumulated over 800,000 users, or you can use this SaaS tool which allows me to scrape 200,000 businesses at once. Which one is best? Let's start with the first option, Web Scraper. As it is a Chrome extension, it has to be installed beforehand. Once that's done, let's head over to Google Maps and type a keyword: restaurants near Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Here is our result listing. Let's turn on the extension and we are faced with two ways of scraping a website: Advanced Sitemap Builder or AI Wizard Alpha, which is a feature that has been released quite recently at the time I'm speaking. Let's give it a try, shall we? Navigation through categories. We don't need that. Scrape data from listing page or open each listing. Option 2 it is. Select item page links. I click on select. Now, if I hover my cursor over my items, they turn into a different color. When I do so, the related HTML element is shown at the bottom left corner of the screen. What's peculiar here is that the so-called element starts with an A tag, and an A tag is an indicator of a link. This is the element we are looking for. I click on the first and on the second results as well, as to highlight my entire list. I click on done selecting. At first sight, the links look alright. However, I'm sure we have more than 7 links on the map. This is where pagination and scroll come in. In our case, we don't have pagination, but we do have a scrolling bar. As such, I enable infinite scroll. Let's continue. The AI is going to analyze a web page and pull out some data fields. I can delete some or simply rename them. For some reason, we do not have the website here, so I can add it manually. Here it is. I press the final button to launch my newly created scraper. And 0 records scraped. And this, my friend, is called frustration. Fortunately, there is a way to bypass this problem. And the solution is located right there within your Google Chrome settings. Let's jump into privacy and security. We delete browsing data, meaning history, cookies, cache, and more. I set the time range to all time, and I delete data. Without doing anything else, I re-scrape the page. Hold on a second. I wouldn't click on that button yet if I were you. You cannot wait? Okay, you're lost. My point is that we can make this preview a tiny bit better. Look, these are the data fields we have accessed so far. Wouldn't it help if I told you that we can add email addresses and social media links to it at no extra cost? It can be done thanks to the free Google Chrome extension from scrap.io. I type scrap Chrome extension on Google. Here we go. Here is the extension which I'm adding to Chrome. What do you think is going to happen if I refresh my Google Maps URL? Well, nothing, for some reason. That's okay, let's come back to our listing, and now we've got something. A new banner is being displayed, and the details become crystal clear when I open each listing. Thanks to that, I can manually add a new column with everything including inside that text box. Well, where did we leave off? Without doing anything else, I re-scrape the page, and this time it's working. We take a sip of coffee and wait until the extraction is completed. A few moments later, this is what it should look like. All that remains is to download it in Excel format. Well, wait a second. I only have 67 data rows. That doesn't sound like many. The reason I'm asking is because if I make the very same request on scrap.io, so restaurant in the United States, Georgia, in Atlanta. Well, how many leads do you think we are going to retrieve? Roughly 3,000. But okay, I admit not all leads might be relevant. That is the reason why we can filter this preview before the extraction. For example, we might not be interested in closed businesses. On the contrary, we might want them to have at least one phone number and one email address. I click on export, and a few moments later, this is what it should look like. It sure looks a bit more comprehensive. We will leave you a link in the description if you want to take a look at all the available columns. In defense of WebScraper, it's difficult to blame it for anything, as the data collection is performed directly on your device, from your laptop. Whereas on Scrap.io, it runs in the cloud, meaning on external servers. And as such, we are able to make very large requests. The court calls this Scrap.io file containing over 200,000 leads to the stand. With proper subscription, it wasn't more difficult than making a couple of clicks. I'm not here to brag, so let's just add that by clicking the link in the description, your first 100 leads are totally offered.